Hi, this video is on the Moodle forum. Now, the Moodle forum is kind of what I went to over the chat discussion because if I want people to just ask questions to the group and answer them, the forum's kind of a better venue for me. Now the chat may still be good for a back channel, which the forum is not, but if I just want students to be able to answer and ask questions and comment on things in class, the forum activity works pretty darn well for that. So I'm going to show you how to add a forum and basically what it looks like when you add it. So you turn editing on, add an activity, and I'm adding it up top because I'm going to use it for class discussion. So I'm going to pick the forum activity, and if we read this on the side, it's to enable asynchronous discussions, i.e. that take place over an extended period of time from my class. And there's a number of different ways for forums to be done. And it has come to what you can use it for. A social place for students to get to know each other, a place for course announcements, discussion on course things, continue an online issue raised previously in face-to-face class. You can see all those reasons that you might add a forum. So we'll go ahead and add the forum here. And I'm going to call it hardware questions and answers. Please post any I see, I spelled that wrong. Okay, so I'm going to say, hey, this is where okay, so I go down here, display description again. If I wanted that, you know what, I'm going to leave it checked so you see what I'm talking about, where display description is on there. So there's some different forum types that we've got on here, and if you need to ever look at what those types are, you can just click on the question mark and it explains what the 5 different forum types are. So the first one is a single simple discussion. If I do that, I ask one question and everybody can reply to that one question. Sorry about that, I had to cough. So that's a single forum thing, which is not what I'm looking for here. Option number 2 is each person posts one discussion and only one, and everyone else can reply to that discussion. And that's used for, hey, you might have a forum with everybody has to do a post on what they learned in this section that they thought was the most significant. So they can't see any forum posts until they post theirs, and then they can comment on each other's forum posts with yeah, that's a good idea, blah, blah, whatever. So that's what that one is. Q&A is just that. Students can ask a question, and then after they post their question, they can view and edit each other's posts. Not really what I'm looking at for this particular questions and answers one. The next one, standard forum, and really the last 2 are both standard forums. One of them is a forum that's displayed like a blog with topic links, and the last one is the one I'm actually going to use, where anyone can start a new discussion at any time and anyone can answer that discussion. So I'm going to choose option number 5 to do a standard form for general use, realizing that this one really is the same one, it just looks different. It's what I'm going to call a little more modern look than this one, and you can play with those and decide which one you like. So, can they do attachments? How many attachments can they do into a blog post? I'm going to say 1, and the attachments can't be over 2 megabytes. You may say, I don't want any attachments. Do you want to display the word count? In other words, you might say, hey, all blog posts have to be at least 300 words for this blog or more. And it shows them what their word count is so they know whether or not they've met that. Subscription tracking means, can you subscribe to it so you get emails on any other responses that are to this particular one? So the default is optional. I'm going to use forced so that anybody in my class can do it. But you could also say auto subscription, and if you want to look at the explanations there, you can hit the question. So everyone is subscribed initially but can choose to unsubscribe at any time, and then there's no subscriptions at all. I'm going to do force because it's part of my class. And then read tracking is either optional or off, so either it doesn't track whether somebody's read or it allows them to say they read this one. Discussion locking. Do I want to lock it after a certain period? In other words, once a question's asked, after a week, the question is locked from anyone putting any answers on. I'm going to say do not lock, but you certainly could say that certain discussions are only open for a certain period of time. Maybe during this whole project is only a month long, so I want to say, you know what, we're done talking about this after this month is up. Post threshold. So this is saying how many days, okay, so students can be blocked from posting more than a given number of posts in a given time. Users with this capability, mod function. So it's saying if I want to block, how many blocks can you have in a given amount of time? In other words, I don't want them to post more than one a day, right? So they're going to get a block if they're, well, let's say 2 a day, and they'll get a warning when they've posted over one. It doesn't really make sense, I know. Maybe I should change it more to a week, so they can only do 7 a week, and they're going to get warned if they've done 5. I don't think that's ever an issue that you have to limit the number of posts somebody puts in. It's usually the opposite. Trying to get people to put in posts. So is this a graded item? Where's the grade going to go? I'm going to throw it in 3 formative. And then how is it graded? Capability, so they can rate each other if you want to allow them to. I generally do not have students rate each other's posts. But so I could say that we're going to do the maximum rating, and I'm going to say when you can rate, and that's what this is for. I don't really use this very often. I'm going to go ahead and save and display and show you what the form looks like. So by default, all it is a spot where they can go, hey, I want to add a new discussion, and I'm going to say, so a student can post a question like that, and then they're going to go down and say, post a forum. So they're going to see that that discussion was there. They can click on it and say, okay, does anyone remember software? Oh, I know the answer to that. And then they can go and reply to it. They won't have the option to edit or delete somebody else's post, but they'll have the option to reply to it then, and then somebody else can see the discussion and somebody else can see the reply. So that's basically it for a forum. There's a bunch of different ways you can use it. You can experiment with the point structure, whether you want students to be able to grade each other, whether you want to grade the students in the activity itself or not, and whether you want how you want that grading thing to happen. So you can make it worth like 10 points, and everyone has to post a discussion. That doesn't make sense for this question and answer part. But you could use it to try to get students to discuss certain topics in a class. And some students you'll find that tend to not talk out in class have no problem typing when they're kind of hidden in a forum, and you might find that some students do a lot more discussing online than they did when they're talking in front of their peers, but they have no problems doing it online. So it's an interesting thing to try to do in particular sections of your class using the Moodle forum.